Good day, everyone. So today I am going to talk about my first leaderboard for Mr. World 2019. And this is the 10th edition of the pageant because based on what I have read online, the pageant is happening every other year. So the pageant is supposed to happen last year, but since it was postponed, it is going to happen this year, this coming 8th of June to be held in Manila, Philippines, where the current winner, Rohit Khandelwal from India, will be crowning his successor at the end of the event. So, I will be sharing with you my top 10 plus the 6 men whom I think could potentially spoil the competition as well. These 6 belongs to my warming up list, which means I need to see more of them, and it could help in my future assessment of the contestants for the upcoming Mr. World. So my number 16 is Ireland, Wayne Walsh. 15 is El Salvador, David Pivaral. 14 is Paraguay, Magno Silva. Number 13 is Puerto Rico, Jose Humberto Cotto. Number 12 is Argentina, Leonardo Diaz Alincastro. I love him very much, but it's just I need to see more of him. And my number 11 is Japan's Kenta Nagai, whom I think got a very, very strong profile in his belt. So I think it could help him. It's just I need to see more of him, and I prefer actually my current top 10. So we will start discussing my top 10 favorites for Mr. World 2019, starting with my number 10, which is India's Vishnu Menon. He is a civil engineering graduate, and he is currently a model and track and field athlete. In my opinion, he's got one of the best bodies in the competition. I think he looks good. I love his looks, but I'm not crazy about it. I think he's got potentials to place, and I believe he needs to place simply because he needs to give a good fight to defend the crown for India. And he's been through a lot of preparation for this pageant, so I think his hard work will pay off by getting a placement, hopefully. And my number 9 is Chile, Felipe Rojas. He is 24 years old and is a dentist, and he stands 6 feet 3 inches. I mean, that's very tall. And there's something about him that is really attractive. He's very handsome, and he's got a great profession which will back him up. And I believe he's got a potential to really get a placement because aside from he looks good, he's well packaged when it comes to getting a great body, and I believe he's got something to share, especially when it comes to his profile, which I think is really good. And my number 8 is England's Heslewood. He is 27 years old and he's an aerospace engineering graduate. I mean, wow, something related to rocket science. And well, he's actually a former rocket scientist from Marshall's Aerospace, and of course, who would ignore this adorable and handsome face? And most of us will recognize him because he competed in Manhunt International 2018, where he placed as one of the top 15 finalists. And Mr. World is currently based in United Kingdom or England or Great Britain, whatever you call it. So I believe as a country holding the pageant, I believe he'll be given a ticket to at least get a placement because aside from that privilege, I think he deserves to get a placement at least. Although I really do not see him as a winner. In fact, I actually do not see him as something that is very pageanty when it comes to overall physical aspect. I mean, he's handsome, all right, but for pageant, not so much. But since he's got a very handsome face and a great record, personal background, I would actually reward him with a placement. But as a winner, I actually did not see him winning. My number 7 is Spain's Daniel Torres Moreno. He competed in Mr. International 2016, where he placed as one of the top 9 finalists, Well, he is Mr. Spain, and most representatives from Spain are actually well prepared, very handsome, well packaged, great body. And Daniel Torres Moreno is actually one of those men. He's got a great body, beautiful face. But my concern is, he's good, but he needs to stand out a little bit, because even though he's one of the favorites, even when he competed in Mr. International, there are some candidates who might steal the spotlight from him. So he needs to maintain the momentum. But since he already got some experience in international pageants, I believe he can use this and hopefully get a better result in Mr. World 2019. My number 6 is Czech Republic's Jakub Kraus. He's 29 years old. He's a fitness trainer and a nutritionist, and he runs his own health food business. Well, if you look at him, he's just a typical good-looking Czech man with a well-sculpted body. But when he competed in Mr. International 2015, I actually did not expect him to do very well. But as I continue to watch him in the competition, this candidate actually got a lot of natural charm that he doesn't need to try so hard just to get our attention. So with Mr. World, I really hope he could still deliver the same charm to the judges and hopefully get a much higher placement. Well, in fact, in Mr. International 2015, he already finished in the top 5, so that's already a great achievement. So I'm really hoping he could deliver the same achievement, or at least a bit higher than what he achieved in Mr. International. I really hope that he will be coming strong this year. And my number 5 is Mr. World Philippines, JB Saliba. He's 25 years old. He's a sports science graduate. He's currently a model and an actor. To be honest, he is actually among all the male contenders, male representatives that Philippines sent to an international competition. I believe JB Saliba is actually one of the best that Philippines have sent or will be sending to the pageant, because aside from the fact that he's actually handsome, he's got one of the great bodies in the competition, which I actually do not see in some of the Mr. Philippines in international male pageants. But for JB Saliba, he's got a very beautiful, well-sculpted body, handsome face, and of course, Philippines is hosting the pageant. So although even if Philippines will not be hosting, I still think he will deliver a great placement for the Philippines. But since it will be happening here, so it will be an additional merit to him, hopefully, because he actually deserves to go up there. This is just my first impression to the candidates, and I really hope he will be delivering once the competition comes close or once the competition starts and until the end. My number 4 is Korea's Giwook Na. He is 27 years old and currently studying Masters of Education in Mathematics. So he is a mathematics teacher. He's actually very handsome and I find him very attractive. And I'm actually very happy, and I want to give my congratulations to the team that are handling that are actually handling male pageants in Korea, sending representatives to international competitions, because recently they've been doing very well in sending male contenders. They've been sending quality competitors every now and then, and not just in one competition, but in almost all male competitions. They've been doing very well. So this year, the representative in Mr. World is not different, because he is also a very charming and handsome contestant, great body as usual, and I really hope they would deliver just like the previous Mr. Koreas that were sent recently, because they're good. So I really have some high expectations for Korea this year. And of course, with how Mr. Korea pageant has evolved and their credibility has actually risen up when it comes to male pageantry. So I'm actually very positive that they will do well in Mr. World, and I hope I'm right. And My number 3 as of the moment is Mr. Mexico, Brian Faugier. He is 23 years old and he is an industrial engineering student. Well, he's still a student, but I am very in love with his physical beauty. I mean, he's very handsome, very charming, and of course, he's coming very strong this year. He's actually one of the favorites and one of the candidates that are making noise. As of the moment in pageantry, I mean, he's got a lot of amazing and handsome photos. And even in motion, he actually looks great. I mean, his face, I actually could see him potentially winning this edition. Well, it still depends on how he delivers in the competition, but I actually see him as one of the potential winners this year. Mexico's Brian Faugier for Mr. World 2019. And my number 2 as of the moment is Robert Cula Budi. He's a model and he does sports and commercial modeling as of the moment. And aside from that, he is very charming. And I actually saw one of the videos in YouTube where he is being interviewed. And I am very impressed because of the way he speaks. You can actually sense the sincerity and real emotion when he speaks. And aside from that, he is a very intelligent and great speaker. He can speak very well. And he is just, I think he is the best. I mean, there's a lot of black contenders this year, but I think Kenya made the right decision of sending him. He's a great speaker. He has also got a great body, and I really find his face very handsome. And my only criticism, it's not really a criticism, but it's actually criticism, but more in a constructive way. I actually wanted to see him trim his facial hair a little bit because I do not like the longer version, but nevertheless, he is actually one of the candidates that I'm really looking forward to see this year, and I'm really looking forward to do very well this year. And we never have any winners from the African region, so if he wins this year, I believe it's going to be a deserving win. And my current leader for Mr. World 2019 is Brazil's Carlos Franco. He's 25 years old, he's a professional model, and he's also a runner-up in Brazilian Karate Championship in 2016, and he helped raise funds by participating in fashion show and gala. And I think, knowing the credibility of Brazil in male pageantry, I honestly believe that Brazil, along with countries such as Lebanon, is one of the countries that are really strong in male pageantry. I mean, they always send strong contenders, but for Carlos Franco, I believe they made the right decision of sending him to Mr. World. He is very handsome, very attractive face. I really love his confidence when it comes to interviews, and of course, great body, well packaged, and as what I've said, this is Brazil we're talking about, so obviously the preparation is intense for male pageantry, and I really hope he could deliver as well once the competition starts. So as of the moment, Brazil is my number 1 choice for Mr. World 2019. So these are my favorites for Mr. World 2019. Who are your favorites as of the moment? We only have more than a month before the competition, before we crown Mr. World 2019. So don't forget to leave your comments below, share the video as well, thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day, everyone.